Hey everyone, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in to Relevant Jukebox, and today I'm back with another episode in the Gauntlet where I go over a series of records that I didn't touch upon in a full-length review but still wanted to mention to you guys. I definitely have a few records to get caught up on here that I'm going to mention in this video here. A lot that I actually really liked, but didn't really feel the need to put out an entire full-length review on, as there isn't too much that I had to say about them. And now that it seems like the music world is starting to get ramped up again and putting out more releases, I should have more reviews coming out in the next couple months. But for now, I'm just gonna hop right into these next 10 records. Starting off with the latest album from Nick Cave and Warren Ellis. This one's called Carnage, and it's a good one, you know, if you are a Nick Cave fan, but it's one that I feel like I definitely have to be more in a specific mood for. It's very low-key and meditative. A lot of these tracks are a little more stripped back overall, but if you are interested in Nick Cave and his like slow churning ballads, I think you should give this one a listen. White Elephant was a track on here that really stuck out to me. Next up is the latest release from the experimental hip-hop duo Arm & Hammer, who also bring in Alchemist into the fold over here, and it's another good Arm & Hammer record. I'm really liking the more soul-centric and jazzy embellishments that Alchemist is bringing into the fold, or at least I think that's what his contributions are. This release overall still fits into that more downtrodden and abstract world of Billy Woods. The beats on here are still operating on somewhat more of a looped, abstract, slow churning kind of direction, but they don't really hit the high points that they hit on Paraffin, in my opinion. Still a really solid project overall with some nice features. There's even an Earl Sweatshirt feature snuck into the mix. Latest album from the Boston-based indie rock band Really From. This one is self-titled over here, and this album overall just really tries to answer the question of, does math rock work when you add in jazz elements? And the answer is absolutely not. This thing was kind of a mess for me sonically, all over the place sounding. It almost feels like you have your glass of water and you just poured a bunch of oil into it. It just does not work for me. Show Me the Body recently dropped a new EP titled Survive. It's a pretty short one at only 3 tracks, but man, is it a good one. It might be my favorite material from the band to date. They sound like they're really starting to perfect that sludgy, scuzzy, in-your-face fusion of punk and rock on here. And yeah, I mean, the production is nice, the tracks hit hard, a lot of energy behind them too that I'm really getting into. And yeah, I'm just really hoping to see what's gonna happen on a follow-up full-length album for this band. Latest album over here from the singer-songwriter Lana Del Rey. Truth be told, I am not a Lana Del Rey fan really at all. Don't really get the vibe. But I did put on the first track of this record. I think it was titled White Dress. I thought that was a decent track, but then just kind of shut it off after there. Just didn't really feel the need to finish the album, because I don't think it's going to hit the high point of that first track really in any way. Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats have released a follow-up to Unlocked titled Unlocked 1.5, which is a batch of remixes of the original album that ends up playing out a lot more enjoyable than the original, in my opinion. There's a noticeable difference in the structures of the tracks that make them come off a lot more abstract to me. Also, the production is a lot less bombastic and much more surreal, almost like there's like a Quasimodo vibe going on over here. And I mean, the last track on this thing actually plays out like some late 90s drum and bass cut that's coming out of a rave or something. So yeah, I mean, I thought this was really great over here, and I really hope that Denzel actually explores a direction like this in the future, because it's a lot more refreshing than just hearing like verse after verse after verse. Newest mixtape from Foley over here, 123, was one I was looking forward to being released, and you know, the results kind of sound like hyper pop. The vocals on here are pitched up to extreme levels, almost like beyond Alvin and the Chipmunks, and to the point where they're like barely discernible. There's a lot of like metallic sound play going on in the production as well, but this was a release that, I don't know, I still can't really make heads or tails of. A lot of the transitions on these tracks are just very choppy, and you know, overall the structure of each one just really deviates further away from like a pop formula, to the point where like, I don't know, I can't really get into the vibe of them. Deacon is the latest release over here from the experimental R&B artist Serpent with Feet, and this was a release that I was actually really looking forward to, given the singles that promoted the album were so good, especially the track Same Size Shoe, which is a really catchy and sweet ballad about love. You know, it almost plays out like some kind of Blood Orange mixed with FKA Twigs vibes going on. But unfortunately, after consuming the rest of the album, the singles were the best tracks, as the rest of it just feels like it's run so thin and is just plays out so scant. It's almost like forgettable. Real Estate have seen fit to release a new EP over here titled Half a Human, and you know, it's just okay overall. I mean, I guess if you're like a really big Real Estate fan, you should probably give this a listen. They're kind of calling it back to like the Days era of Real Estate. But I mean, at this point, it just seems pretty obvious that the band has absolutely no interest to experiment with their sound and try something different. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, it came off kind of boring. But I mean, again, if you're a big Real Estate fan, this could probably fit into the catalog with their other albums, especially the earlier ones for you. And rounding out this episode of The Gauntlet is the third album from the French rock band Faux Chateauton. Now, this is a band over here that I'm honestly brand new to, but I did see the album getting its rounds across the internet and a lot of high praise, and I'm glad to say that I can join in those cheers, as this album is really, really good. It kind of plays out like a French version of Radiohead with like a little bit of an LCD sound system or Interpol twist to it. I really like the instrumentation all over this release. It's very smooth and futuristic sounding, and it's paired with some very theatrical vocal performances from the frontman that makes me wish that I could speak French. And yeah, I mean, I was gonna review this in a full-length review, but I just didn't really have like too much detail to say about the release overall. It's just extremely enjoyable front to back, really good length on the album, and it's probably one of my favorite releases so far in 2021. So that's gonna do it for this episode of The Gauntlet. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments section down below if there were any albums that I missed. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and share, and if you want more content for me, hit that subscribe button. Peace.